Okay, welcome back, Stacey. Welcome back to Stories from the River, everyone. Thanks for joining us last week. If you haven't watched part one, go back and watch that one now. And wherever you're watching, we're going to get started with our head coach, our Senior Vice President of Retail Performance, Stacey McCormick. We had a great conversation thus far. We're going to go into like career paths and some other stuff about you. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Join Charlie Maloof as he explores the personal journeys of Broad River Retail's very own memory makers. Welcome to Stories from the River.
Career paths and identities and names and not RSA, but HFCs to HFEs. You've been in the industry for a long time. What is unique about our approach to career paths and identities at the traditional retail sales associate level?
It's night and day. So, I've done this a long time. Every time I've ever had a salesperson working in an organization, unless they wanted to move up into management, there was no way for them to be promoted. So they were just a salesperson, and they remained a salesperson. And now, you got to know, I love salespeople. I think they make the world go round, right? Like that. To me, they're so important, and I love the interactions that I get to have with them. But ultimately, what we do here at Broad River is we give them an opportunity to promote themselves based on their achievements and their accomplishments. So HFA, Home Furnishings Associate, they've been with a company for a period of time, hit a certain set of metrics, then they can promote up with a certification or a test, and they can promote up to being a home furnishings consultant. So and then they can hit another set of metrics over time, and same thing, go through a certification process, and then they become a home furnishings professional. And then the other thing we do is, once someone has either done $1 million in the trailing 12 months or they've been with a company for 3 years, they're eligible to earn their way through the metrics to an expert status, which is our creme de la creme, the top of the mark. And I think what it does is engages our team, and it gives that professional, because I do believe that our sales team is professionals, are professionals, and ultimately it gives them something to work towards to improve their status, to improve their income, to improve their work experience. So I think it's genius. I love it.
Everyone wants to progress. And
absolutely.
To work towards something. What do you get though? Like, do you just get a title, or is there compensation that comes with these other levels?
There's compensation and title. So compensation for a home furnishings associate, they're at a 12% level with their protection sales, and then they go to 16 as a consultant, and 20 as a professional, and 24 as an expert. Yeah. So they get rewarded. And we're talking about something that's 8 to 10%, and in some cases, like Frank, 15% of their sales, right? So, but then you go into the vacation time, which is super important that our people get that time. They earn that time to take away and go spend time with their families. Well, an associate makes $12 an hour on vacation, but a consultant makes $16, professional makes $20, and then the expert gets $50 an hour on vacation.
Not too bad.
And by the way, they're still having merchandise deliver, so they're still getting their commissions too. So it's really it's just a great perk. And then there's other things. The experts, landlord permitting, they get a upfront prime parking spot, with a sign reserved for home furnishing expert, and they get special cards and a special pin to that is recognized them as there.
And higher bonus programs too.
Higher bonus programs for sure. I forgot about that. That's super important. So they get higher bonus, written sales bonus programs monthly, and there's other perks like we're about to celebrate our experts with a really nice dinner, and I'm looking forward to that.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good one. I don't think we've had a big celebratory in-person event like that since that Raleigh grand opening we were talking about.
Absolutely.
So it's time to get this back together again. Sales manager development and management career paths. So this is kind of interesting. You've been focused on transforming our development of future leaders, starting with our sales manager program. And then tell us, what are some of the things that you're working on there with our sales managers?
Well, number one, I feel like we've done a lot of good work in the last 2 years there. We've had, I think, at this point, 10 sales managers in the last 2 years that have been promoted up into a management training role or a GM role. And prior to me coming to the company, it wasn't that. I mean, I don't know exactly, probably 3 people in 5 years, and by the way, they're great people and did super jobs. So, but ultimately, we feel like we have massive amounts of talent walking inside of our building every day, and people who want to do more, and we want to give them a path. We want them to be able to believe that, hey, if this is what I want to do, if I want to become a GM one day or a multi-unit leader or a VP with a company, that's possible, right? And so what we do is really we've put a lot of time into training and developing them from a leadership standpoint. But we're about to take it to the next level, working on a program right now to identify attributes and be a little bit sharper there. Also to put some accountability standards for performance into place there too, right? So, and what I mean by that is that you should be able to impact your category, right? And that will help everyone in the building, including them, because they're bonused on that. And then ultimately, a new sales manager onboarding program. That's one of the programs that we haven't developed. We've developed a new leader onboarding. We've got a new memory maker onboarding. But when we promote someone into a sales manager role, we don't really do a great job at this point of having a defined, consistent way to invest into them and give them the tools that they need and set the correct expectations for them so that they know what their job and role is, but also that they know how we're going to develop them.
So it's great. I mean, we've already seen some early success, and we always say we'll grow as far as our people will take us, and we have to grow our people.
Yeah.
And so early success with early layers of the program, the low-hanging fruit, but it's going to get a lot more sophisticated. And I think some of the other things I think I've noticed is just enrolling them in, like, teaching them the great game of business, inviting them to the GM calls, having the Saturday morning calls, understanding the metrics of the business a lot more. And so that's been different. The 8 a.m. every Saturday morning calls with either VIP, which is finance, or sleep. And I listen in on those calls every Saturday. They're great. And the Win Wednesday call, when they're the leader in the box, winning those. So those have all been really good. And some of those, so we've got great talent, bringing talent into this program. And so I think we're going to have great future leaders that come from it. Excited to see where it goes as you can, and then just making that, hey, you just got promoted to this role. That's a flagship moment. That's the power moment. That's
Absolutely.
a really big deal.
No doubt.
So there's more that probably the beginning of that onboarding program.
It's engagement, Charlie. I mean, I think that what we do differently is we engage that whole population at a higher level than we ever have, and we're just getting started.
Yeah. And then, but you've also transformed what we used to call the RPM role, which is that retail performance manager, that management and training position, with more career pathing and personalization and customization based off how they enter into that role. What have you recently rolled out there?
We've kind of taken that role, and we did away with retail performance manager, and we've developed really two titles or two positions. One is senior sales manager, and the other is associate general manager. We feel like those are actually better guest-facing roles, right? So that if I'm called on to go walk in and I say I'm the senior sales manager, I say I'm the associate general manager, that carries a little bit more weight with the guest. But the main thing is that what we saw is that we've got all these talented people who join us from other industries, the hotel industry, the food and beverage industry, the clothing industry, or retail clothing, or whatever, and they've been great leaders and had great success. But you know as well as I do that, like, the dynamic of the high touch and the P2I piece of what we do is totally different than anywhere else in any other industry. And these folks come in and they've never sold the product. They've never actually executed the role that they're going to be teaching people to do, right? So we created these two different tracks or paths, and what that allows us to do is bring them in, actually immerse them in the sales process. So they go and come in and train as an HFA, and they will either sell 100,000 or 300,000 before they go to that AGM level, because we need them to know. It's kind of like, if you're going to really learn Spanish and you're in college, they're going to teach you in the classroom, but then they're going to send you to Costa Rica, or they're going to send you to Nicaragua, or they're going to send you to Mexico or somewhere and embed you with a family that doesn't speak English, so that you've got to speak Spanish, and that way you become fluid at it. And that's really what this process will do, or this program will do. And I think it's going to create a great, I think it's a great training vehicle for those people joining us who are super talented. But I also believe that it's going to help us be better once they come out of training, because they'll have that tribal knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I think we used to just accept that our hit rate on RPM success was like 50%, which you've said, I think we can do a lot better than that.
Absolutely.
And so turnover's costly, and we think it's the person, but what if it's the process and the program? And so we're going to take a look inward on that stuff. So you mentioned P2I, just for our audience. What is P2I?
Position to impact.
And what does that mean?
Basically, we expect our GMs, our leaders in the store, and sales managers, if they're not with a guest, to be in what we call position to impact. So we're in the position on the floor, out visible, seeing what's going on, knowing where the guest is. Kevin Kimmon would say head on a swivel, right? Always aware, and it's really field awareness of the guests that are in the store, where they are in the process or where they should be in the process, and how we should be assisting them to give them the best experience. Yeah. And that's really what it's about. It's engaging with the team on the activities and actions that are going to create the end result that the guest really wants, and that obviously we want as well.
Which is where the action happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Bonus programs at retail. Do you like our bonus programs for our retail leaders? I mean, do you think that each type that we have, which are a lot, whether it's a monthly or a contest or an annual jackpot, as we call it, annual bonus, drives performance in a sustainable and effective manner, and how so? So do you like it, and do you think that they drive performance in a sustainable and effective manner?
I do like it. I do like it, and the answer is yes. So the first thing is that the goals are attainable. I've had bonus programs in the past that, man, you look at it on paper and you think, wow, isn't this great? Yeah. I can make $70,000 in bonus, right? But when you really get down to it, you can't make $7, because the goals are just not attainable. I used to say an unattainable bonus program isn't worth the paper it's written on, right? Or the space it takes up on the computer. But ours are attainable, and I do believe that they drive performance. And the reason I do is because you can see that in the metrics. When we change a number, if we raise a target because we've already reached that or we're surpassing that, if we raise a minimum, or if we change something, or if we offer something up in a contest, you can see those things start to change. But also, I think I've said to you, one of the things that I love about the bonus program we have here at Broad River is it's instant profit sharing, right? It's instant profit sharing. If you do a great job in your role as a GM or as a sales manager or as a HFC or as a multi-unit leader or executive, whatever it is on the retail performance thing, you get that share, and because you made that happen.
Well, I think that's a really the right perspective, Stacey, because it's not meant to cause anxiety and to force pressure like you've got to hit this to pay your bills. It's really to outsized reward you from the spirit of abundance and mutual prosperity for doing a great job, and that doing so, if we protect all of our bottom line metrics, there's going to be enough spoils to share, and we want to share them. So
absolutely.
That's the intention behind it.
And that's how I see it. So,
okay, let's take a step back and get to know you a little bit better. Just a really quick, simple icebreaker. So let's say you've hung up your cleats, your retail cleats. You're sitting on your front porch drinking some iced tea, talking about the good old days and your illustrious career at retail. And you get to choose 3 words that you want people to remember you by, or to talk about, reflect on your legacy. What are those 3 words for you?
Do you know that was tough for me? It's tough, man.
It's tough in general.
But the first 2 weren't tough. It was the third one, because I wanted to say 2 or 3 different things. Yeah. That I was nice. Okay. That I was a nice guy. That I was, we've got a job to do, but I was kind, and that I was nice to people. I think it's super important to be nice. That I was dependable. That I could be counted on. Like, if I'm supposed to be somewhere at a certain time, that I'm there, or if I need to deliver something in a certain way, that I'm there. And really and truly, that kind of maybe I deliver that plus, like it's a plus up, right? So nice, dependable. And this last one was tough because I wanted to say fun, because I love to have a good time and I love to be fun, and I'm a little bit of a jokester. But really, it's I think I came down to difference maker because I couldn't get just one word. I had to get a hybrid word there with or a compound word there.
There you go.
But I really, my purpose is to elevate others and to empower or encourage others. And I think difference maker probably encapsulates that about as good as anything.
I'm surprised you didn't go with Love and Math or Mr. Mo.
Yeah, I know.
It's all good.
Yeah.
We'll tell them what Mr. Mo means later. Hey, I know that it always takes a village to achieve phenomenal success. And so who are some of the unsung heroes or colleagues of your world? Tell us what they do or have done that help you or have helped you.
Well, so I would say my dad, I think I've told you this in the past or told other folks that, in my adult life. Now, when we were younger, it was a little bit different because, he was a young man trying to make his way and had a job. But in my adult life, there was never a time that I got around him that my stress level didn't go down and my joy level didn't go up.
That's great.
And not one time. So, that's phenomenal. My mother, because she's my biggest fan and she loves me and she loves me unconditionally no matter what. Sometimes I don't think I'm the best son and she tells me I am, but I probably disagree with her a little bit, but she's always been a big fan. My grandmother and grandfather, really I would say my whole family. I had all these cousins and aunts and uncles and my grandma and my grandpa. They were always a big fan. They always were there for me. They always were at any sporting event or anything that I was the youngest cousin that lived close by. They were always there. They always supported me. They always invested in me. They never let me win, so that was always good, right? And so those folks, my wife, being in retail is not always easy. So she's been super supportive, and I think this is probably the 11th or 12th city we've lived in our life, and so she's done it. She's loved me unconditionally, even when I didn't deserve it. And then I would say, my kids, I love them. They're really great. My son is teaches me how to relax and maybe appreciate the better things in life, as far as like personal connection and being able to be nice to everybody, right? Because that's who he is. And then my daughter is just she's so driven and she's so loving and intentional and what she does. So that's awesome. I would say those folks.
That's awesome. So you've worked for some amazing leaders and mentors over your career. Tell us about the impact of some of the mentors and leaders who you've had.
Wow. I started making this list and I thought, my gosh, Charlie's going to want me to shut up. But Perry Biggs, when I first went to work with Rhodes Furniture, Perry Biggs was iconic. He was a VP with them, and you've heard me say it a bunch of times, there's no success without joy. Mm-hmm. Perry said that all the time. Dean Davidson saw things in me that I might not have seen it myself at the time. He gave me my first 2 really, really big promotions, and Dean used to say, pay me now or pay me later, and you hear me say that too. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that Dean taught me was that you could lead people and be nice. You didn't have to, I was raised as a child of the late 80s, early 90s in leadership, and you were taught back then to kind of be rough at times, right? That's right. And Dean never was. Dean was always, even though you knew he meant business, he was always nice. Mm-hmm. And he taught me that. He was super positive too, and I just love that about him. And he really made a lasting impact on me. John Crawford. I went to work with John, and he had 3 stores. It was the 3rd store, and I went to work with him, and it just kind of took off. We ended up opening up and ended up having 9 at one point, of which 6 of them I was in charge of, but I had an impact on all of them. Yeah. But John trusted me, and he trusted me with the business, and I took care of everything but the accounting in that business, and he trusted me, and he collaborated with me, and he was an amazing man, and he did a bunch for me and my family, and put me in a position to be wildly successful, and really put me in a position to lead a whole organization in a way that no one else had ever done. And then look, Jim and Chad Spencer, you can't, those 2 guys, like their business acumen and their tenacity around their business is crazy good, and I learned a lot from them. But I'll tell you, Todd Garton was with DSG is just an amazing man.
He's a great guy.
He has been very instrumental in getting me to listen more. I wasn't always a great listener, and Todd really listened well and taught me how to do that a little bit better, and challenged me to start reading books again and investing in myself. And he talked about clarity an awful lot, and so Todd had a big impact. And I say Chris Gamble. Chris is an amazing guy. He's a super sharp business operator, and he allowed me to come inside his business and write a training program and do a lot of different things that I had never really been able to do at that level, except for with John a little bit, but not to this level. Yeah. And provided me an opportunity to help him in his business, and just opened his arms to me. So and this guy's a tireless worker, a worker.
That's
crazy
great.
worker.
That's a great list. That's a great list. We may have to have a part 3, but let's
I'm
let's
sorry.
No,
I apologize.
You're good. So our company's word of the year this year is thrive. You certainly thrived in 2021 in spite of the global pandemic, and you were executive of the year, as we talked about in the last episode. What does it mean for you to thrive?
Joy. It's just joy. I mean, people chase happiness, but what really should be chasing in my mind is joy.
What's the difference?
Happiness takes an event. Joy is just all the time. Like I can have good or bad things happen to me. I broke myself in half, but I can either get down in the ditch on that, or I can rise above it, right? I had open heart surgery. A lot of people have things like that, and they just start telling themselves the wrong story because they don't have joy in their life. So I just think joy means that I can go and get around you, and you can go, you know what, that guy, I feel pretty good now that I've been around this person.
Yeah, that's good. What advice would you offer up to a fellow memory maker to help him or her thrive this year?
Don't take yourself too seriously, number one. Number two, you know what, be vulnerable. There's power in it. You take all the power away from it. We're scared to reveal our things that we're not happy about or not secure with, but ultimately by doing that, you take the power away. I talk about, I won't go down that path, but I believe that be vulnerable for yourself, not for others, and then love, forgive. And then, the other thing is do things that make you happy.
Yeah.
Now, happiness is, I'm not saying that I don't want happiness.
Yeah.
I want joy, but do things that make you happy.
Yeah.
Hey, look, go take time for yourself and invest in yourself.
That's good. So who's thriving today because of the impact of your leadership that you've had on that person?
Man, I don't know. You tell me. I just that was a tough one for me, Charlie, but,
well, how about this? I think our company is.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, and that's what I would say. And if I went back to people and I said, okay, Renee Bradley would probably tell you that I've had an impact on her, and she's. But I think a bunch of the multi-unit leaders and the leaders in our organization will. I look at Matt Pitnaro and the work that he's doing, and he's thriving certainly. Chris Barrier. Look, Chris was already on the way before I got here, but man, he's just really flourished, and he's an amazing guy. Carl Hillisland. Carl. Came to us, and I think we all felt that maybe he was punching a little above his weight when he first joined us, but man, has he grown in just a short time, and he had so much energy and so many ideas, and he's just flourished. He does such a great job, and not only that, he's a great person, right? So Kevin Kinman, I just keep going.
We'll let you off the hook on that one. That's good. What's some of the best advice you've ever received?
If the only constant in every problem's you might be the problem.
That's a good one.
That was from my dad, and then the second one was, from my grandmother. Being nice is free; it doesn't cost anything.
That's good. What advice would you give a new hire starting on the sales floor today?
Come in, go to work mode, find the most successful person in the store, and see how they do it. Because success, as Carl says, success leaves clues, right? But I would also say. Trust the process. We're a $260, $280 million company. It wouldn't be in the book if it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
More often than it doesn't, right?
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
So you talked about this last week on the episode part 1. How about goal setting? How important is goal setting, in your opinion, to achieving premier retail performance?
I think it's very central. It's one of the, if you had 4 or 5 components, it has to be one, right? Because without vision, people perish, and ultimately, I think it's a quote you use all the time that no one ever arrived at a destination that they wanted to by accident, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
That they chose, and I can't say it for us.
That's a Michael Hyatt quote about vision. Nobody drifted to a destination they would have chosen.
That's it. That's right. And so goal setting to me is super important, because I also believe it serves as the beacon or the lighthouse when things don't go the way you want them to go.
Yeah. Which is inevitable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Plan for that.
Yep.
Okay, so here's one that's maybe a little bit more personal. What are some of the goals that you have this year for the retail team? Give me maybe your top 3.
Top 3? 57.5% secret sauce. I believe that secret sauce unlocks so much for our partners inside of the organization, all memory makers. I think if we thrive and we're the only department that really has the most, or I say that every department impacts it, but our department has the most impact to it. And I think that it's the way that we can show everybody else how much we appreciate the work they do and how much we love them. So that would be one. Conversion rate. It's having more people choose us at the point of sale, because ultimately, I can't change certain things, but I can do that better. But if you think outside of that, it really becomes about, how many people can we get promoted? Promotion goals, like how many people can we get promoted in our, from sales manager to GM or whatever. And then the last one I would say is, how do we how quickly can we get people promoted from HFA to HFP, right? I mean HFC, right?
You could keep going down that line of thinking, finding out what their goals are, as we learned at the Purpose Summit, and how quickly can we help them buy their first home, or
absolutely,
or go on that family Disney vacation they were planning for.
No doubt.
When we know what's important to them. Our audience probably wants me to ask you what secret sauce is, and I'm a little bit hesitant because it's the secret ingredients, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but secret sauce is important. Why? What is secret sauce?
Well, it's really margin. I mean, it's profit margin.
True margin.
It's true profit margin that includes what we sell the furniture for,
product margin,
letter cost, product margin, less our finance fees, because we do pay for our finance plans, and then it's our delivery income dash. So our dash income,
selling it as
selling it as the value that it is, because most people don't want to. It's really about peace of mind, and you have more peace of mind if we bring it to you and set it up and take full ownership if anything goes wrong than you do if you pick it up yourself and something does go wrong, and then you've got to fool with it. So
okay. We talked about opportunities, and so I'm not going to ask you about that, but what are some of the projects that you're working on right now that you're really excited about?
I'm super excited about Operation STP. Just started it out.
What's STP?
STP. It's the fuel additive. No, it's that does have something. It's fuel additive. Keeps your engine clean, be able to go at peak performance, right? But it's speed to promotion. What we've realized is that we've got a really, really high turnover rate in our HFA population, our beginning onboarding population. And what we feel like, and what we know though, is that number goes down drastically when they go to HFC. And the other thing we know is that our stores that perform, that have the performance issues, have a higher percentage of HFAs there, right?
So I want to just kind of stop and pause on this. So if you join the River at retail, we actually have a program called STP, which is trying to accelerate your promotion.
Absolutely.
That's unique.
We want them to promote. Yeah. We want the best for them anyway, right? So, but really what it comes down to is it's going to force us to take the same approach to that like we take to $1 Million Memory Maker program. What kind of celebrations are we having for these folks? Do we have a tracking mechanism? Are we coming alongside them when they're struggling and really personalizing something to give them the help that they need? What kind of job are we doing when they're onboarding?
Our biggest population is our HFCs in our entire company. I don't know, 35% maybe, or something around there. And some companies, as we said, don't even have career paths at the HFC level. Not only do we have career paths, but we have a program that's to get you accelerated to get your promotion.
We want to get you there quick.
Stacey, what are some of your personal goals for the rest of the year?
Personal goals for the rest of the year would be to continue to one, to get Operation STP and Set Sail off the ground and get them going. Set Sail is to do with our new stores and getting them to where they're out in open waters with the wind at their back, heading down. I
got all the boating metaphors. It's good.
Yeah, so we're ready to go there. But really and truly, I think it would be to continue to engage with the team. I mean, my word of the year is engage. So to continue to do that, but ultimately it's to not participate in the recession. We're not going to participate. We conscientiously are objecting to that. Secret sauce. Increase conversion rate. Help our people make more money, get more $1 million memory makers.
But I got that for retail. But what about for you personally?
Oh, me personally? Yeah. Goals for me personally. Lose 15 pounds. Okay. I said it on camera, so now you got me. Accountability's coming. Permission to hold accountable. That's it. So, do that. The other one is to just, just to engage with people. I mean, the goals for me personally, it would be to do that. It would be to, get healthy. Feel really healthy, eat a little healthier, things of that nature.
Personally.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Good.
Hey, how do you sharpen your saw? Like, how do you get better? What are you working on this year in terms of your own learning and personal development?
Okay, so I think you had podcast on there. I don't really. I listen to this podcast.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
And then I listen to the Nolecast, which is I'm a season ticket holder for Florida State football, so I listen to the Nolecast to stay up to speed. But what I do is I like to research topics. So I like to learn about people and how can I how can I help people improve? How can I be a difference maker for them? So I will go on and research a topic, watch videos or read articles. And I do read books, but I would probably say I spend more of my time there, researching things like self-awareness, researching things like engagement.
Going deep on a topic.
Yeah, going deep on topics so that I can go and help come alongside our leaders to help them be better leaders and better people.
Do you have any favorite business or leadership books?
I do. I love Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. I think it's phenomenal. Talks about language, timing, and positioning, both mental and physical. Right. Go for No is a great sales book. It's sales only. Go for No. All of your yeses are hidden in no's. Right. And then The Speed of Trust, Stephen Covey Jr. You just put me on a great one that I love, and it's going to be a resource for a long, long time. You told me that when you gave it to me, but Keith J. Cunningham, The Road Less Stupid.
Advice from the chairman of the board.
Exactly. So those are really good, and I would say, and then The Advantage, Lencioni, and I can't remember who he wrote that with, but
got it. That's a good one. Culture. I know we're biased, but we believe that our culture at the River is really unique and truly special. How proud were you that we had 5 of the top 20 stores in America ranked and recognized as best furniture store in America last year?
Super proud. And the reason is because those surveys were sent out to the memory makers, and we didn't give them any instruction or they answered them, and they sent their responses in, and the responses were positive. They were overwhelmingly positive. And so I'm super proud of that, because what it says is we're doing something right. We do have a special culture here. It's it's people first. It's caring. It's loving. It's look, there's accountability, but I believe that accountability is one of the best ways in the world to show love. But I also believe that we have this learning zone plus performance zone culture as well, that the other really great form of love that you can show people is to teach them and to invest into them, right? So I believe that yes, and then all of the little intentional things we do, Thrive and Purpose series, I mean, I could go into so much. We'd have to go to 4. But it's truly different.
Okay. It was proud, 5 of the top 20.
Yes.
And you got to take great pride in that. So if I had to ask you, what is your favorite thing about our culture here at the River? You listed several. And in your opinion, what makes it, what is it that makes our culture special?
Well, there's two words, nice. We're nice. And then the second one is authentic. Okay. It's authentically care about people, authentically are nice. Mm-hmm. I've had people that have come to work in the organization who have came back to me after 90 days, and I say, hey, how's it going? Is everything going good? What do you got? What kind of feedback you got from me? She says, I'm blown away by the fact that people are still nice. Like, I've worked at a lot of companies and they'd be nice to you to begin with, but then eventually it kind of goes away and you see the silos and the politics and the dissatisfaction start to boil up. Everyone here is so kind.
Well, I'd like to think that we were like that before, but I think during the pandemic, we just got this empathetic heart about it, like just people. It really rose to the top. It's like we've got to be as empathetic as possible. People are going through some tough things, and this is real, and we got to take this seriously. So maybe that really favored the way that we like to treat people in general. So glad to hear you say that. Hey, what is something that happens here at the River that doesn't happen at other companies? You've worked at a lot of other companies, and what would be something that happens here?
Town halls. Okay. Town halls. Other companies don't do that. They have a meeting here or there, but to be able to open up and have that open forum. I thought about, I think the other thing is that, I think we ask for our people's opinion. We did I know other companies do surveys. I got it, but it's not just the survey. We constantly and continually ask for the feedback. Yeah,
that's important. How important? We're always open for business, and it's important. How important is our community outreach program to our culture, in your opinion?
Oh, it's huge. When you think about, purpose and what drives people, it's usually not, money's there, but it usually doesn't rank as high as everybody thinks it does, right? Mm-hmm. And benefits are there, but usually don't rank as high as everybody thinks they do. What really ranks high is, do I feel valued? Mm-hmm. And, am I, is that culture good, and is the purpose can my purpose as a human being be met? And I think that through those programs, one of the roots of happiness are gratitude and giving. Mm-hmm. They're not anything else, or the roots of joy. It's like I'm thankful for everything that I've got, and then I'm willing to give of myself to someone else or to something else. And ultimately that's what that does. And, hope to dream, our Lincoln with St. Jude, Susan G. Komen coming up in October. But that's not all. There's we're collecting sheets right now. We've got, school supplies that we're about to start taking up, EAP programs, all of these things.
Corporate Chaplains of America.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You got to read The Go-Giver. I know we got that book from Bob Young, and I got to get your copy. You talked about gratitude and giving. I think you'd really like it. Hey, what is one thing about Broad River that you think would surprise others from the outside looking in?
That we're genuinely nice all the time. Like it's not a show. It really, a lot of people see things posted and they think, oh yeah, I'll get there, and it's a show. But I think that would be it. I think that would, to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is something about you that would surprise your fellow memory makers?
I'm a huge NASCAR fan.
Are you really?
Yeah, I love NASCAR.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed that I heard y'all went up there to the Hendrick shop and I didn't get to go to that, man. That was crazy.
We'll get you up there. Hey, our friends at Alex, our friends at Hendrick, we got to get this guy up there.
Yeah, huge NASCAR fan.
You'd love it. Okay.
Always have been. My dad was, so I kind of caught on.
I got you. Okay, McCormickisms. You're famous at the River for your bumper sticker quotes and sayings, so many of them. You've dropped a few of those zingers and one-liners here. What are some of your favorite one-liners and sayings that you haven't already said?
Well, Charlie, you took us to Steak 48, right? You've introduced me to Steak 48. Yeah. The other people took and paid for it, but let me tell you how good that steak was. If you laid that on top of your head, your tongue would have slapped your brains out trying to get to it. You can't catch positive fish with negative bait. Mm-hmm. More right, more often, Mr. Moe, right? Can't keep the birds from flying over your head, but you can keep them from making a nest in your hair.
There you go. What's that one mean?
What does that mean? I can't control, when you start talking about personal people, like we can't control anybody else, and we can't control the things that go on around us. And so many people fail at whatever they're doing because they get stuck in their circumstance. What it says is that I can't keep that bird from going up there, but I can keep them from coming right here inside of my head and doing things, right? You load the wagon, let me worry about the mule going blind, right? So, and what that means is, hey, look, go do your job. Yeah. Go do what we've asked you to do, and we will take care of ours. Yeah. Let's go do this together.
And I know you love Coach Saban, and you got some other ones. Hey, what's the thermostat quote?
Oh yeah. So you want to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. All right.
And what does that mean?
Well, a thermometer tells you the temperature. The thermostat sets the temperature, right? So are you gonna set the temperature of the things that are going on around you, or are you going to be a victim of the temperature that you're sitting in?
And what's the one about bringing energy to the room?
Oh well, let me see which one it is. Oh well, I believe that your energy introduces you before you even speak. So I think that the energy that you have in your building is the energy that you brought to the building. Yeah. So absolutely.
Good stuff. Hey, if you could change one thing about the company today with the wave of a magic wand, what would it be?
One thing about the company today with a wave of a magic wand, cross-pollination, cross-collaboration, cross-training. I believe that as big as we're getting and as big as we are, that we have people doing roles that they are cross-functional as far as like the CX team is helping the sales team and the sales team is interacting with the CX team. I think the CX team should spend a day or two in the stores, and I think the sales team, the retail performance team, should spend a day or two in CX. I believe they should go get on both of them should go get on trucks and go follow trucks and watch that. Go watch a live unload on a trailer in the warehouse, and spend a summer day or a winter day in there.
Not only do you gain that other understanding and appreciation for others, but that you get that comprehension for the business, and I think you could help see opportunities. There could be blind spots. Tim Subkowiak, when he was on the podcast, suggested shadow time off.
I loved it.
Yeah, that's a great comment.
Yeah. Hey, and the other thing it does though is it also creates relationships. See, a lot of people don't understand because they just don't understand, right? So ultimately, if I've walked a mile in your shoes and see what a day in the life looks like for you, then I might be a little less judgmental when it comes time when things aren't going well, right?
I love that from To Kill a Mockingbird. Never judge a man till you walk a mile in his shoes.
That's right.
Yep. Okay, let's say that I decided to retire and I gave you the keys to the company. You've done such a great job. You're the new president and CEO at Broad River Retail, and today's your first day in this new role. What would be your first order of business?
I would really probably go very, very deep on final mile delivery. I think that we have an opportunity to do a much better job there as an organization, and I believe our guests deserve it. And don't get me wrong, we have a lot of success there, so I'm not saying we don't, but I believe it's a place where we could really get better.
Okay, good stuff. When you stop working for the day and have some time for yourself or your family, what do you like to do for fun or to relax?
Big Florida State football fan. I got season tickets. I love sports in general. I played golf with my dad. I hadn't played golf for 2 years, and me and my son have played golf 4 times in the last month. So
that's great.
I'm enjoying that. I like anything to do with being on the side of some water. So a lake, a beach, or a pool. Good food, traveling. Yeah,
that's good stuff. Hey, final advice to someone who is not a memory maker and is thinking of coming to the river. What advice would you offer to that person?
Well, I would tell them that if you want to go to work for a company that truly cares about you, that really will, do everything they can to help you succeed, and to be nurtured, but at the same time challenged, and thrive. We're you guys. Come on.
Hey, I asked a few of your folks a couple things about you. I'd love to read those right now.
Oh man,
I got it. So this is from Renee. what Stacey means to our team. Stacey is the energy, the voice, and the power that drives our team. Before Stacey, we were pretty great, but because of Stacey, we are now thriving. He challenges us to be better at business, but more importantly, he teaches us to be better people. We respect him, we admire him, and man, do we love him. That's from Renee. And then I asked some of your folks, and I think you may have asked them as well, what some of your top McCormickisms were.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned some of these, but some of these are good for maybe some outtakes. So from Chris Wright, I'm not after your job. I'm just after you to do it. If you can't get here on time, just get here when you want to. I hear you. That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. I got it. But the voice has to be high pitched. Tell me more. He talked about if you're the constant in every problem, you just might be the problem. This one's probably not safe, so I won't say that one. Yeah, I love this one. You don't have to do it. Just the people who work here do.
That's exactly right.
That one made me laugh.
That's it.
Kinman, the pen factory, to work here, you have to put the caps on the pen.
That's it.
He talked about the bird flying over your head that your grandma shared, and the story of when you were 17 and you got your last whooping by your daddy. Who when Stacey had thrown a fit, his dad called him out and explained why he was whooping him, that if he had a problem with everyone, maybe he was the problem. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery. We have today, and that's why it's called the present.
That's actually a quote from the book Fish. It's yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today's a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Got it. His introduction when he first arrived of the importance of gratitude and how we have started doing this every meeting, every day. It's love and math. He said he does at least 100 miles per hour in his car once a day. Does he still do this each day?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Stacey.
Do.
Well, he's honest at least.
Hey, look, if you got to pay, look, if
I don't need to know.
If you get comfortable, you got to make yourself uncomfortable every day, Charlie.
I got it. Well, you did say you love NASCAR. His way of coaching in all of the RX meetings he has hosted, your brand, self-reflection, prove it, etc. So much great content in these, and the amazing C4 process and his style of teaching it out and being able to walk the walk. And from Kim Harkness, so good it'll make your tongue smack your brains out.
Yeah, there you go.
And Ray talked about the one with the birds flying over your head. And if all the problems you're talking about have only one thing in common, and that thing is you, then you may be the problem.
Yep.
So those were some great ones. And if I was choosing your 3 words or the title of your book, I think it'd be real simple. Isn't that amazing?
I love it.
Hey, isn't that amazing with Stacey McCormick? Stacey, thanks so much for being here. You got anything
Absolutely.
else you want to say?
I just thankful. I'm grateful. I told you this. I appreciate the opportunity to work here at the company. You guys are great. Y'all are super kind, super nice. But I get to do this every day. I don't have to, and I'm so fortunate to work with so many great, wonderful, talented people that just go above and beyond every day to do a great job for our company and our guests and our fellow memory makers. So, I'm just, like I said, humbled and honored.
Well, you're the perfect leader for our retail teams, and we're fortunate and blessed and lucky to have you. And thanks so much for coming. We finally got you here on the podcast.
Yeah.
And you're doing great things, and the future is bright with Stacey McCormick as our head coach. Hey, that's a 2-parter here, guys. Thanks for joining Stories from the River. You're going to love this one. If you haven't watched the first one, go back and watch that one as well. And thanks for joining us every Wednesday, wherever you're watching or listening, whether it's on YouTube, we bring you video content, or Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your favorite podcast. Hey, mash that like button. That'd help us out. Or mash that subscribe button. Tell someone else. Tell us how we can get better. We appreciate you guys, and we love bringing you fresh new content and sharing our stories from the river. Thanks so much, Stacey.